Welcome back to the Paradings Podcast. This is part 2 out of 3 of our move from British Columbia to Calgary, Alberta.
That's okay. So basically, after being done with Vancouver and having the opportunity and nothing keeping me stuck in BC anymore, I'm like, let's go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to be on the career path I was going anymore, and I was very open to just doing something different. So. Yeah. Like, I didn't have a job to hold me back. My family's all over the place anyways, so it's not like we got to see each other a lot, but I will miss my grandparents a lot. Well, and other family members, of course. But, you can't keep yourself back because you're going to miss somebody that you live in close by to, but you barely see. Go live your life. I'm like, in my 30s now, so it's time to do what the fuck I want.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of today's world is we have so many ways to keep in touch with people and share our life and journey with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even though we're far away, we can still continue to share what's going on in life, and travel's so much easier, so we can still go back and see people.
For sure. Yeah. And then you all but convinced me with the sun. And Calgary being one of the sunniest cities, or the sunniest cities in Canada. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, can I survive winters? Well, we'll find out this winter. But today, April, and
12th of April.
It's minus 10 and feels like minus 19. But the other day, it got to a high of minus 22. Positive 22, like hot. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's kind of,
the 7 seasons of spring?
7 seasons of spring.
That's what it was referred to, yeah.
Yeah. Quoted by a friend of ours.
Yeah. Well, by my cousin Chev's fiance.
Erin. That's her name. She's so wise.
Erin.
She called it. We've been here for 2 weeks, and we've seen it all.
Yeah. It's hailed, it's windstormed, it's snowed. This morning there was fresh snow on the ground. In the middle of April.
Hot sun.
Mm-hmm. I think, has it rained?
It's rained.
It did? Okay.
It rained a little bit, but like one day.
But it was like a couple hours for a day. Like, it wasn't a Vancouver rain.
It was, I didn't even notice it until I saw that the concrete was wet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it rains and you don't notice. That's beautiful here.
But I'm like, if I could survive 22 years in the Okanagan, I bet I could survive the winter in Alberta. So I just have to recondition myself to the temperatures.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say the one blessing of Vancouver is that what if people call it, they compare it to like the Florida of Canada, which I feel like if you're from the States, it's kind of accurate. The weather is, compared to the rest of Canada, it's very mild. Like, we don't really get crazy winters. It gets cold, but you don't really have to deal with the snow and the ice and the slush and blah, blah, blahs. Like, it's usually just kind of cold and rainy. Mm-hmm. Like, it's warm and rainy or cold and rainy. That's kind of Vancouver.
It's just fucking rainy.
It's always rainy. That's the point.
The island is too. Don't get me wrong. My parents are on the island, and it's just sad. Yeah. Still, every day.
Yeah. So how about the drive over here? Like, how was the
I didn't drive
maybe
at
even
all.
the move, I guess.
I didn't
just the
drive.
moving process in general. How was that for you?
Well, we had been packing for a while.
Yeah.
Because basically in January, we were like, we're moving in the spring. So this whole timeline has lined up exactly how we wanted to, which is the universe speaking to us, telling us that this is the right thing.
Yeah, I would say because in January we decided we were going to move. We just didn't know exactly where, and we started looking. But we also started selling off our stuff and downsizing and like getting ready to move, even though we didn't have a destination yet.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that part was easy until we got to the end, and we had to empty the kitchen that holds so much more than you can see, and then so much more than you can actually put in your new big kitchen. I don't understand this at all. But we didn't have a lot of furniture, and most of the stuff that we had, we took apart. So it was really easy to move everything. And we packed it all up in 3 hours.
Yeah, we fit everything into a 6 foot by 12 foot U-Haul trailer, the back of my dad's big Toyota Tundra pickup, and stuffed the rest into our little Hyundai Sonata,
And the plants all
including
came.
plants.
Yep, they were in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Like 6 of them or something. They
Yep.
survived the whole trip. They were really, really, really good.
Yeah. I was surprised at how well they did it.
I know.
We left them out in the car in the hotels as well, and I wasn't sure how the cold would do for them, but they seemed to do fine.
Yeah, they were good. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
And then the drive up, I didn't drive at all. I offered, and then I didn't. Let's be honest, I don't really like to drive. I bet I would have preferred to have driven the first trek anyways up to Osoyoos, because I've driven from Vancouver to Oyama a shit ton of times anyways. So I was like, I can do that. But anytime other driving, if I don't have to, I don't want to.
For sure.
And I get all nervous about driving someplace I haven't driven before. So I downloaded a game on my phone. I downloaded a couple and then deleted the ones I didn't like. And I had just played this stupid freaking game on my phone like the whole time while you drove. And we played music. We stopped at the few hotels we stayed at.
Mm-hmm. We made it a very leisurely trip.
Yeah, that would have been a long.
Which we did it over 3 days, so we only did about 4 to 5 hours of driving each day, which was really nice. So the first leg of our trip was Vancouver to Osoyoos, Osoyoos to Cranbrook, and then Cranbrook to Calgary.
Yeah.
And I don't know, looking back, I feel like we could have maybe done that too. It almost felt a little bit too leisurely to me in a way. But
Yeah, I think I would have preferred to do it in 2, but it still worked out fine.
yeah, it still went fine.
It's just we were just eager to get here, but the point was we wouldn't have been able to get into the house until a couple days after anyways, so we were just ready.
Yeah.
So 3 days on the road felt like nothing, honestly.
Yeah, really did.
Yeah. Going from Superstore to like Habitat for Humanity here in Calgary felt like it took longer the other day.
Yeah, from the north end to the south end of
Yeah,
town.
and it's so fast to get places here in Calgary, so that's like saying nothing.
Yeah. So I'm curious how it's felt like how long have we been here now?
2 weeks
2
on
weeks, yeah.
Thursday.
2 weeks on Thursday.
Thursday will be 2 weeks.
So we took possession of the house on the 31st.
Yeah.
And we started living in it then.
Yep. Started living and renovating because it is an old house and
It's built in 1916.
people had tried to do some renovations that just look like, someone started renovations and then stopped, and then the next people came in and started renovations and then stopped. And then a lot of rushed work and a bunch of gaps and stuff's not secure. And it's just, the paint was horrendous for one top reason. This shade of blue, that shade of blue, this shade of blue. Like, fuck, and then throw in a green there.
Yeah. And it was all over the trim.
Oh.
That's what was bugging me. We tried to tape up the lines, and I'm like, I can't even tape a straight line because the previous people, like, their lines are all over the place. I'm like, where does the trim start and the wall end?
Yeah, so that was tough. That was hard. I'm glad we're taking a break from painting because I hate painting.
But, oh my gosh. We got that whole upstairs done in a week, though.
Yeah.
That felt really good. It was
The
about
painting,
1,200 square feet.
Yeah, we still have to renovate the bathroom because that's horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Horrendous.
Yeah, that's a full reno.
Yeah.
For reasons that we'll explain another time.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
We'll do some other chats about our bathroom reno.
Yeah. What happened to our trip? let's stop talking about the house. The trip.
The trip.
How was it for you? Because
Right.
you were driving the whole time, and I was ignoring you. I'm sorry.
No, you were gaming and keeping yourself entertained.
No, I was like, how can I pass the time?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't bad. I enjoy long trips.
Mhm.
I don't know. Well, especially like my dad and I have always enjoyed doing long road trips, and like we've done a lot together. And then I've done a few of my own, just even up and down. I like one even going to Northern California for Thanksgiving for like 3 days. So that was a jam-packed, crazy little short trip. But there's something really exciting and fun for me about driving through the mountains. And
You
especially the
love
Rocky
mountains.
Mountains. Yeah, I do love the mountains. I don't spend enough time there, but I have a real deep love and appreciation for the mountains. And what I think it was 2015. It was the first time I went through the Rockies. My business partner Brian and I, we went over to the Banff Mountain Film Festival, and we drove from Bellingham over to Banff in my brother's Jeep, which is not a good mountain vehicle because it catches the wind like a sail,
Oh my god.
and it'll throw you every which way across the icy roads. So
That's
if you're going
scary.
through the mountains, please don't get a Jeep. Choose anything else, something that doesn't have such large surface area.
Wow.
But I think that was my first trip where I was completely taken aback by the size of the mountains there. And I think you even made a comment as we were going through the Kootenay National Park just before getting into Banff, and we were coming into some of those huge mountains, and we're going through these giant canyons and crevasses, and you're just like, wow, I feel so small.
So small.
So small.
Everything else is so significant.
Yeah.
Insignificant.
And I personally love that feeling in life. It's sort of a
It
check on
humbled
my
me a lot more, and it made me feel like, this is why we're doing this too.
Mm-hmm. Because there's something bigger.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
everything that I'm worried about, money or job or whatever is so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's you'll get a job, whatever that job is, don't even worry about it. Money will always come, as you always say.
Mm-hmm.
And just live your life and do what you want to do and do what makes you happy. And I was like, that made me happy. It made me think about how small I am.
Yeah. It's humbling, and I personally always remember a comment that my mom made when we were, so when we lived in Virginia for a while when I was around age 12, 13, from like 12 to 13, or sorry, 10 to 13. And when we moved back to Washington, we drove across the United States. I remember we're driving somewhere across, in like the middle of the country, and we're coming across the Rockies, down there, and my mom made a comment about, can you imagine like the first people who came through here on their wagons and the Oregon Trail and stuff, and like you're just sitting there on the valley looking up at these giant mountains, and all you've got is your horse and your wagon, and like your family behind you, probably a bunch of sick kids and someone who needs their leg amputated or something,
God.
right? Like, because you've been on the road for months on this wagon, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not even halfway done with your journey yet, and suddenly you come across
And
these
there's nothing
mountains.
in between.
Yeah, and there's no rest stops or nothing. Like there's no highway system. There's no. It's just trail,
Wow.
and you got nothing. And so I feel like every time I go through the Rockies, I think of that. That comment that my mom made, and think of that history that happened through there, and it makes me feel so, again, yeah, like small but also privileged, and
Oh yeah.
and I can't help but just say, wow, how amazing is it that we can pack up and drive for like literally one day if we wanted, and you could go from Vancouver to Calgary, no problem. Just fill your tank up, off you go.
Yeah. Living in luxury.
Absolutely. So I hope it really just helps me reframe my own life, right, and understand what's important and what's not, and similar to that, like the things that you think are important. Oh, I need this specific job, or I need to make this much money, or blah blah blahs, and you kind of think, man, like No, none of that really matters when you're kind of out there in the middle of the mountains with nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you realize how little you need and how great and big the world is. And I can't help but look around too, and like when we would see some wildlife, you know, you'd see some of the deer or some of the goats. I don't know. Did we see any goats on this one?
Oh, I think we saw one
Yeah, maybe one goat. But
mountain goat.
wasn't a lot of mountain life right now, I'll be honest. It
No,
was too
lots of
cold for them.
cows, of course.
Yeah, yeah. The cows.
Horsies.
But whenever I see all the life through the mountains too, it's also a nice reminder of exactly that. Like you'll find what you need, you know. So I think you
Right.
can't help but look out there and you think, oh man, how could anything live here? And then stop and look a little closer and you see how much can live there. And you go, oh, yeah, it just takes a different way of thinking or a different way of behaving, and you can totally live here, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, it was fun.
yeah.
It was painful though after a while. Just my body was really sore.
Yeah,
I'm old.
cars aren't comfortable.
No, a lot of sitting, like
Yeah,
being inactive. That was hard.
yeah, that really is.
And then all the different hotel beds, so you had to sleep.
Yep. Not my favorite either.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're here.
Yep.
How have the first few weeks been?
The first 2 weeks have been busy.
Mm-hmm. What have you been doing?
Well, as I said earlier, we've been painting and buying a lot of stuff. We've been doing our little renovations.
Moving
We
ain't
had to
cheap,
change.
people.
Yeah, well, we had to change the lights upstairs. Everything, like I said, yuck.
Yeah.
And we want to we want to make it our own, right? And we had specific ideas in mind from the very beginning when we bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just looking at pictures. So, and while we're looking for jobs and not working and stuff, it was the best time to do all those
Absolutely.
before you are busier and you can't do all those in the time that you want.
Yeah.
So I was gung ho, and then I had a fight with the paint, and I was not happy painting. I really absolutely hated painting the bedrooms, I won't lie.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the kitchen living room was so easy. Yeah, the biggest area of the whole place.
Yeah.
I feel like the basement will be easy as well. And I don't know maybe it's because we only did it in one color.
Maybe.
We did like 3 colors in the other room.
Yeah. So to describe for people, like, the house is basically one big long rectangle, and the living room and kitchen area are kind of one huge section of that rectangle, and then there's 2 small bedrooms at the back of the house, and a bathroom in between the kitchen and the master bedroom on the east side of the home. And that's pretty much your upstairs. Like, it's not too much different from our apartment. And then below you have a basement that's pretty much wide open, and it's half open space that I've now commandeered as my office and
It's going to be office,
music studio, photography
yeah.
workspace. It's going to be a fun little place.
Yeah.
But right now
It'll be
it
like a little
doesn't
club.
look like any of that. A little club. Exactly. But so we decided in the bedrooms we did a couple accent walls. So the back walls, because when you walk in the front door, you'll see the back walls of each room. So we did our bedroom in this deep green color called green agate.
It's like an emeraldy. Yeah.
Yeah, a nice dark emeraldy forest
More
green.
on the green
something
side.
in that kind of realm. And then on the other one, we did Kalari Sunset, which is this really cool dark
Burnt orange.
red orange.
It's a glorious color.
Yeah, but it's very muted. It's sort of a darker tone. It's not a bright, vibrant red orange. It's a little more pastel-y but dark.
It's not tacky.
Yeah. And then paired that with, what was the antique white?
Antique white.
Or what were you calling it though?
I kept calling it ancient white.
Ancient white.
That's pretty close.
That just always made me laugh. Can you get me the ancient white?
That would probably be more yellow.
Oh man. And then in front of the closet doors. There's 2 closets in each of the rooms, and we did those in a potting soil, which is exactly that. It's the color of potting
Beautiful
soil.
brown.
Nice dark brown color, which, I don't know, it brings the whole place a very earthy tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, across the whole
Bringing the
upstairs.
outdoors in.
Thanks for listening to the Paradings podcast. Tune in to the next episode, and we'll talk about how we chose our interior design colors and a bunch of other stuff about moving into a new home in a new province. Thanks. Hope you have a great day.